So let's talk, Kula Devata. We'll talk about two more Devatas. Now those are the three, those are the tripod that are most important. Now secondary, it's so hard to say secondary, because the Kula Devata is so important. Kula means family. And the Kula Devata is, when somebody comes to you and they say, I lost my job, my wife is sick, my kid just got kicked out of school, and the list goes on, the whole family suffering, it's Kula Devata. The first thing you look for is the Kula Devata. And it's just, the Kula means family, and every family has a deity that looks over them, particularly. And the Kula Devata is seen from the second house in the Vimshamsha, the D20. An interesting way that I actually used that rule once was, I was in Varanasi and I was doing the reading for a gentleman whose family their family deity was Hanuman. And they were connected to the Sanketamochana temple in Varanasi, very famous Hanuman temple. And when I looked at his chart and I was rectifying it, I saw that Mars was in the third house of his Vimshamsha. So I just put it in the second and rectified to the level of the Vimshamsha. So if it's an Indian family who has a very well-known family deity, it's always pretty easy to rectify with that. In more Western culture, it gets to be a little bit harder. But you will see that there is the family deity. And because people are born and raised generally in a certain religion or a certain way, and even if they're all Christian, the way they look at the Christian religion will change slightly. They'll have different planetary aspects relative to that same religion. And hopefully someone along the line will help us to direct the different aspects of Christianity into the different planets. Because when we look at the Kula Devata, to rectify that Vimshamsha, it makes it so fast. If we know what type of Christianity that person was raised in and that their family is in, and if we can easily connect it to the planet, then it makes it really, it's fast. Nice. So the family deity takes care of the family. And generally, the family deity is taken care of by having a little picture in the house of the family deity. And most often in India, you'll see the oldest people in the household will take care of the deity or do the prayers to that deity. If it's like America where you don't live with your grandparents and your parents, then you're going to have to make sure in your own home that you are taking care of the Kula Devata as well. Unfortunately, it's a little bit more work, which having your own house is more work. But the Kula Devata, as I said, is very important when there's a problem with the whole family. An interesting story, he looked at a chart and he told the guy had moved to Singapore, and the family deity the grandfather had always had this deep desire to go to India and bring something of the Kula Devata back to Singapore. And it didn't happen, it didn't work out. The grandfather died, and the family was suffering. Sanjay looked at the chart, he told the guy about his grandfather's desire, which was confirmed. He said, you have to go to India, you have to go to that temple, you have to make sure that deity's happy, and bring something from that deity to here in Singapore for your family. So there is something there to this Kula Devata. And Sthana Devata. And Kula Devata, it's generally the same rules to get the planet. When we start using Vishnu Rupas and all this kind of stuff, we can use yogas and that kind of stuff there, because when it comes to family deity, it can get to some places you see deities where only that family worships the deity. That no one else has ever heard of that deity in the rest of India, the rest of the city. It's that family's deity. So we have a little bit more variation to please the Kula Devata there.
Whose chart do you use to determine in the family?
Generally your own. So you see, you have this problem with India and America, where in India it's a little bit more traditional. So generally it'll show up in everyone's chart.
Oh, okay.
Where in America it starts to be, because the family is a lot more broken and things of that nature, it's going to be a little different. Generally, you look at if you're looking to pick the whole family's deity, then you should read Prashnamarga about Deva Prashna first. Fully understand that chapter, because when you start picking a deity like that, you got to make sure that it's the right astrological time before you even start looking at the chart to begin with. And then you'd want to look at the elders of the family, the leading personalities in the family who are making things happen. But you got to make sure if the family doesn't know and you're bringing that up, make sure that the skies are allowing you to know at the time. But often most people know. Your person's born Catholic and grandmother loved Mother Mary. And your mother has things to Mother Mary as well, because grandmother had all these things to Mother Mary. So it's almost obvious that Mother Mary is the Kula Devata. And so you go along that, and there should be significations for the moon or Venus connected to that house. So in this, we have to be a little bit more flexible in America and with the multiple religions. But it's Vedas, and if Vedas are universal, we should be able to see all religions. So
I have a question about the Devata, all the Devatas and their placement in the Rashi. If they are not happy in the Rashi, and sometimes only during your lifetime, one point that event triggers something bad happens or starts happening for the family or even the
it depends on the situation in the chart. Sometimes it'll only be triggered at a certain part in the life. Sometimes it'll be there for long extended periods. It really depends on the signification. For me, for example, with my Atmakaraka, Ishta, all together, it's there more than it's not there. For somebody who has something in the third house and it's just the Guru Devata afflicted, then there'll be certain periods in their life where it'll show up.
But do you see from Shastri Dasha or Moola Dasha or some other Dasha?
The fructifications of curses you always see in Moola Dasha, but you'll see the results as well in all Phalita Dashas.
So basically you first go to Moola Dasha if it is
if it's cursed.
Yeah, if it's cursed.
Yeah, if it's cursed, Moola Dasha is if you see a curse, you look at Moola Dasha. That's the general rule, whether it's Ishta or not Ishta, to see when that curse is going to fully fructify.
And if you can see when it's going to fructify, you can do remedies to try to mitigate the harshness of it.
If it's Ishta, then you already know the remedy right now. So, if it's not Ishta, then we'll talk about those remedies slowly. Everybody know Moola Dasha? Okay, well in Jagannath Hora I think it's the third tier when you have a choice. It gives you Graha Dashis, Graha Dashas, Rashi Dashas, and other. And it's under other.
Yeah.
So if you go to other under Jagannath Hora and you just click on Moola Dasha, it's Moola Dasha, it's two-tiered primarily, and it's probably the simplest dasha to use. If it's Venus Mars, you look at Venus Mars in the chart. If it's Venus Rahu, you look at Venus Rahu in the chart. If the curse is being caused by Rahu and Mars, just wait to Rahu Mars or Mars Rahu Dasha, and there comes the curse. It's one of the easiest dashas, I think, to use. But you only use it if there's a curse.
It's like similar to the Vimshotri Dasha.
It's much simpler. Much simpler. Vimshotri, you're looking at the house lords and aspects, and it's, there's 5 levels, and Moola Dasha, there's 2 levels, and you look at the graha itself.
I use Jyotish Star for Poland, but
I think he has, this is free, our software.
Where do I find
Online. You can download it. Yeah.
Just look up
But
Jyotish.
actually, Sri Jyotish Star is going to be updated with all the stuff because Andrew Foss was at our last.
But does he have Moola Dasha already or no?
I don't think
Can't
so,
remember.
no.
Yeah.
And a lot of his dashas, even when he has the same ones, aren't the same because you if you compare them with Jay Hora,
Is
they
he
don't
using
get the same
different rules
results.
maybe?
Yeah,
Oh,
but now he's getting it all the way Sanjay wants it, and it's actually going to be
okay.
probably the preferred way because all the latest ways that Sanjay is wanting things is. Andrew's
But
way.
so Moola Dasha only when we see a curse.
Now
And-
who's your course?
Huh?
Are we going to go through how to recognize
I wasn't going to go too into curses. One of the Gurujis, when Guruji was here in America the first time for lecturing, he gave a lecture on curses and the Ishta Devata, and how if there's a curse, worship the Ishta. There's a million ways to get out of curses, but if you don't worship the Ishta, it's all just a patch.
You can probably get that CD from Washington.
Yeah, you could easily get the CD
Yeah,
about that.
Lakshmi.
In general, if there's 2 or more malefics aspecting a planet, it's cursed. And it's by Graha Drishti. Curses are by Graha Drishti. And if there's more than 2 malefics, if there's 3, then it's more cursed. If all 4 are Ketu doesn't have that, so it's by the 3.
Rahu does, the Ketu does.
Yeah, Graha.
Okay.
Just we're not using Rashi, so for curses.
You don't use the malefic Mercury, just
No. Yeah, just the 3.
Mhm.
Yeah.